Okay, I want to make a quick video on the Kronos on how to do a sample. So there are four important components to making a sample. One is making the sample itself, whether it's a guitar, a microphone, a USB, or an iPod plugged into the back of the auxiliary, the phonos out here, the back auxiliaries here. So I'm recording on a microphone. I'm just going to make a quick sample and see how it goes. So here we go. We're on the sampling screen. So press sample on the on this button here on the keyboard, and then we'll go over to the back to this screen here, and we're on. What we need to do is, first thing to do, want to go to the top menu here, pull the drop down menu, go to auto sample setup. We want it on record audio output, press that, press OK. Also I want to go to audio input down here and see this here, this little panning. We want to slide that to the middle because as it's preset to left. Okay, now I'm not an expert on this. I've just about worked out how to figure this out, and so I'm making a video almost for my own reference more than anything, correct? And my friend, hello Gavin. So that's that. Now I'm going to go back to sample edit. Okay, we're going to go to this little screen up here, open up, and we're going to create a new sample. So I'm just going to go to number 2 here, and it says stereo. Yeah, we want it on stereo. Press OK. And press OK. I mentioned earlier on that there's 4 samples, so this is the first part of the sample, the first part of the process. The second part of the process, I should have said this at the beginning, the second part of the process will be, after we've recorded the sample, making a program from a blank program and dragging the sample into it. The third part of the process is saving it to the keyboard on disk, into the hard drive, and the fourth is going to global menu and basically making sure that it uploads when we start up the keyboard. So there are 4 components. So we're just in part 1, okay, making the sample. So now I've got the microphone activated. And the microphone, I'm going to make a little example. So I'm going to go to record here, press record, and we'll press start. Okay, so I'm just going to put that on the recording screen there. So actually, stop that again. So it's on. Sorry, it's on recording screen. You'll see this little thing here. So press record and start, and I'm just going to go 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. I'm using the word 10 because I've done about 10 takes to try and get this right. So that's that. Okay, we've got a little recording in there. So go to the sample, edit. Okay, don't worry about these 2 things here. The top screen, the top one is the start of your loop, your sample. The bottom is the end of your sample. But anyway, we're going to press play. That's right. 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. Now that's coming out of my speakers, my little laptop speakers I've got plugged into USB here, okay? The USB in the back of it, okay? So look, that's fine. That's just a crappy example. It makes no sense, but look, we'll use that, okay? So now what I need to do is I'm going to name this example, okay? So rename multi-sample. Okay, we're going to call it 10. Okay, so okay, I don't know if you see that, but we go to renaming examples in the drop down menu here, and there's rename example and there's rename multi-sample. I'm a little bit confused myself about that, but one's a sample and one is an assembly of them, if you have quite a few of them. But anyway, so we now have that. It automatically plays on this key here, by the way. You might say 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. Automatically is assigned to there. We're not going to fuss about that. We can change that keys, but someone else can do a video on that, okay? So now what we need to do is we need to go to program, and what we're going to do is we're going to get a blank program. So I've gone into programs. I'm going to go down to user G, find an empty program, and this one here seems empty. And we're going to go OK. Now what we need to do is then see here this red box, open it, and go to ROM, the second little window, little arrow, and new sampling session stereo. We want that. Press that. So let's go back to there in case you missed that. Press new sample stereo, session stereo. Then we're going to go to the next box. Okay, the next box which says the 000 on it. See that one there? Open that up there, and we're going to bring in our sample, right, which we've called 10. See? And we press OK. So we now have a program with 10. We've pulled the sample to. We've gone from the sample and we've pulled the sample to the program. Okay, and it should be on here. 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. Okay, right, that's that. So now we're pretty much done there. Oh, we need to name this, okay? Name this right program, and we're going to call it the program as well. We're going to call the program 10 as well. 10, 10, okay. So, yeah, we're sure. So we've written that. So the program now is called 10, the sample's called 10, the program's called 10. So, actually, where is it now? Yeah, so it's number 30 is the, and it's number 10, right, which is a bit confusing, but 10, 10. Right, that's working. Now, so we've got that. That's all we need to do. Just going to go back to sampling, just check something. Might just make sure the sample itself is named. So we've named the multi-sample. Where is it? Rename multi. We've named the sample. We've named the multi-sample, and now we need to name the sample itself. Okay. So what I'm going to call that is 10. Shift. So okay. So you have a sample, which is the basic element, and now we've also have a multi-sample, which I feel is like a possibility of having lots of samples, but because we're only using one, we're going to just call it that. Okay, the next phase is to go to disk, and we're going to save it to the actual machine, right? Okay, disk is quite simple. Go to save, press disk, go to save. Oh, sorry, it's automatically on save. Then go to the drop down menu up here and go to save sampling data. Okay, press all multi-samples, then name it. Okay, so got to call that 10. Okay, it will say this says force new user sample bank ID warning. Don't worry about that, that seems fairly fine, it's not a problem. Press OK. So we saved it. Now that's saved in the actual keyboard itself, in the brains. That is part 3. Part 1 was recording the sample. Part 2 was actually creating a blank program and dragging the sample to it. Part 3 is saving it to disk, which we've just done. And now what we need to go is part 4 is where we go to global and we basically make sure that when it loads up, it brings all this information onto the keyboard where we want it. Okay, I might just do one other thing. I'm going to go back to program. I'm just going to save that to my set list. Add to set list, all right? So I'm just going to add it to my set list. Okay, that's in my set list. And also what I want to do is go to the set list itself, and it's there. See 10. 10, 10, 10. And you should know that once you have your set list, you need to write it to the set list, so that saves it as well. There's lots of saving. It seems like a duplication, but I'm sure it's necessary. Okay, that's fine. And we can go back to our, where are we? So we've done disk, right? We were on disk, right? And we've saved that sample. Now we need to go to global, and we're on global screen. Go to KSC auto load. Press that button there. Now we need to drag the saved information, the program, the sample and the programs. We need to drag them from the disk to this KSC. So we've pressed that KSC auto load. Now we need to add to the KSC. So add KSC. So that's brought us back kind of, I think, we want to go to look for that 10 file. It should be in here. My hands are cold. I'm in my bloody shed. What's going on here? Let's go back to the disk, okay? Let's pause that a second. Okay, so sorry, so yeah, so here is the 10, right? There's 3 of them, right? Okay, there's this, we want to use this bottom one, okay, because the one I think is the sample, one is the program, and one is everything. That's what I think it is anyway. Okay, that's that. We've selected that, and what we do then is okay, so we're in the global menu. Okay, I've saved it to disk. I saved the file number 10, it's called, to disk. I got a bit confused because I couldn't see it, but it was in front of me. So there is the file. We number 10. We save that one there. Okay, and then we press add. Add. So that's now put the file into the startup kind of program, which I think makes sense. And now it says do auto load. Yeah, this will take a few seconds. This will probably take a few minutes, so I'm going to pause it again. Okay. Okay, that's all loaded and should be still here. 10, 10. So what I'm going to do is going to turn the volume down like they tell you to do, and going to turn off the keyboard and start it again. And I'm going to pause it again while that happens. Okay, so we've gone into open. It started up again. The laptop computer, the keyboard, and we selected number 10. It's called 10, obviously, and then here it is. 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. So just recap the 4 points. 1, get your sample into the machine. 2, save it to the disk or the hard drive within the computer, the keyboard. Thirdly, no, that's wrong. Firstly, get the sample into the machine. Secondly, create a program where you drag the sample into the program. Thirdly, you save it to the disk and the hard drive or the brains of the computer. And fourthly, you go to global, which facilitates the all your new information and your sample and your program loading up when you start up. So I hope this is okay.